School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Saskatchewan Pulse Growers and BASF.
Welcome to Real Agriculture's Pulse School series. I'm Kara Oosterhuis. In this episode, I talked to Bowness-Davidson, a pulse scientist out of Lacombe, Alberta, about what you should be looking for as your pulse crops begin to emerge. With the different pests that are starting to show themselves as well, we talk about the effects of pea leaf weevil on your pulses and how you can deal with them now and in the future. So for farmers that have only recently started seeding their pulse crops, what do you suggest they should be keeping their eyes open for?
Well, hopefully, given that it's May 23rd or 4th today, hopefully the pulses are in. I know it was a bit of a challenge this year just because we had to get last year's crop off in some cases and then try to get this year's crop in. But hopefully they were able to get them in, and they used inoculant, the appropriate amount of our type of inoculant, because inoculants are specific for each pulse crop. Hopefully they used a seed treatment. The importance of seed treatment is for the fungus and the pathogens that could be attacking them. But also recently more in central Alberta is the insecticide that comes in the seed treatments because we have pea leaf weevil that's moving in.
Can you touch on the effects of pea leaf weevil in pulse crops?
Okay, pea leaf weevil is a little weevil that's been kind of marching its way north from southern Alberta for the past number of years. It's a little weevil. I'll send you the picture. And what it does is it chews on the leaves of the young pulse crops, and it creates this typical notching effect. So you'll look at the plants and you'll see these little notches all the way around. It looks like someone took a hole punch and punched little notches all around the edges of the leaves. So it's been a problem in southern Alberta for many years, and the producers down there have been treating for it. But it's starting to become a really big problem in central Alberta, and it's even working its way further north than that. So what it creates is this notching, as I mentioned, and the big issue with pea leaf weevil is not necessarily the notching. The farmers see the notching on the leaves and they think, there's this insect attacking my plants and we should do something about it. But it's not the notching that's the problem. Those are the adults that are chewing on the leaves. And what happens is once they start feeding, not very long afterwards, they start laying their eggs in the soil right at the base of the plants. And it's the larvae, when they emerge out, and they go down and they start feeding on the nodules of the pulse plants. So it's the feeding on the nodules which interferes, of course, with nutrient uptake, water uptake, and most importantly, nitrogen fixation, because that's the benefit of pulse crops, of course. So it's the feeding on the nodules that is creating the yield. So you'll see some notching on the plants. Unless it's really bad, we're not recommending that you actually spray for them. Seed treatments are the best effective management option for pea leaf weevil is to put it on a seed treatment. Now, sometimes the weevil feeding can get really high, and there is a threshold that we're still playing with a little bit, but if you see notching on 30% of the plants on the clam leaf, okay, so if you go out and look in your field and you see 3 out of 10 plants have notches on them, and it's more than 30% on the clam leaf. And the clam leaf is the newest leaf that's emerging. It's the leaves that are folded up. If you see a lot of feeding on there, then you know that you might be getting a little bit of economic damage. But again, whether or not you should spray is still the big question. Going forward, we're going to recommend insecticides on all pulse crops north, or from, all the way south up to northern Alberta.
So up to what point can farmers spray for the weevil?
I would say a couple weeks after you start seeing the notches, it's actually starting to get too late. Because I mentioned, it's not the adults that are doing the feeding that's causing the problem. It's the fact that they've laid their eggs by now. And it's the eggs and the larvae that come out of those eggs that are going to be causing the problem. So spraying after the first, few weeks of emergence is not doing you any good. It's a revenge kill. It feels really good to go out there and kill all these little weevils that are chewing on your plants, but you're not getting any economic benefit from that. That we have seen so far. Research is still ongoing on this. We're trying to get a handle on it a little bit. But so far, what we're saying is an application of insecticide is just feels good, but it's not worth your money.
So has any research been done to produce a seed that is resistant to the insects?
Yes, there is some research in that area, but it's a long ways off. I'm not familiar with any research that's going on right now. that we're headed in that direction. But I'm sure with the way technology is going, we can probably expect that to come down the pipe at some point. But right now, we don't have anything in the works that I'm aware of. So.